Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back finally to my reaction and review to the final episode of season 4 of The Expanse. I know this was a long time in coming, everybody. I obviously, had a variety of health issues, from my chronic stuff getting worse to our lovely pandemic, really just causing major delays in this, so I appreciate everybody sticking with me until we can finally get to the end, but here we are. A lot of questions left open, things that we still have to get to. As I previously mentioned, episode 9 was very much focused on Elis, so we didn't really get anything in terms of Avasarala or with Bobby back on Mars, or say with Ashford and his hunt for Marcos. So I expect we'll get a good amount of stuff with that happening again in this episode. But then there are still things on Elis that need to be resolved. We don't know if Miller's plan worked. Is Miller gone? Did the doctor, falling through there, is she coming back? Is she gone? Yeah, so still a bunch of pieces left in play, things to work out, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here, so let's not waste any more time. Season 4 finale of The Expanse. Oh, okay, alright. She's still here? She's here? Seems to have had impact, right? Like,
are you alright?
Yes.
Everything turned off.
No, I don't know. He's gone.
So Miller's gone.
All those big energy emitters on the surface have stopped.
But another tip.
Good.
That was my favorite one.
Also for me, so far.
Get out.
Tooth?
You heard him.
Jesus.
Get out! Marco drew at Earth was using Martian technology. So why would Mars be helping a Belter terrorist?
I don't answer for my planet.
Then you should answer for
Yeah, I
yourself.
was
Why
gonna
were
say,
you helping him?
Money.
Unbelievable.
Right.
A Martian
It's
naval
not,
officer.
everyon is saying
mercenary
Mars is
for
not
a
what it
vicious
used to be.
Belter thug. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, well, Mars ain't what it used to be.
As we've seen with everything happening with Bobby.
Yeah, Marco feels the same.
Yep.
So heroes are brutes. But do you know what kind of man Marco is?
I'm pretty sure I have a good idea.
He's angry, like many Belters his age. Bitter about our lot in life and searching for a way to vent his rage. He is smart, he is brave, yes, very brave, but also very naive because he believes that violence is the only way to get what he feels is his due.
Got a lot of company there.
Violence is indiscriminate. If you use it as a tool, it will do more than just kill your enemies. Sometimes it will kill the ones you love most. Marco took 2 rocks, 2 chunks of iron. He's planning an attack. Yes, with slag asteroids. Maybe throw them. Yes, throw them at Tycho and even Ceres. Revenge against Fred Johnson, Anderson Dawes for what they tried to do to him. All with the help of Mars.
How does any of that help Mars?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, perhaps our Martian can help
but
us
if it's
with
just
that.
about the money for the Martians involved, then oh,
The dream of Mars isn't dead. It's about to be writ large.
Don't do it!
wait a minute. Wait. Hold on a second. So, the dream of Mars isn't dead? So he wasn't just doing it for the money? So, does this mean this actually was some sort of involvement with Mars, not just with a rogue group trying to get money for themselves. That
Taking them on the Rocinante.
that makes
Not a
things
guest. You're a prisoner.
pretty interesting.
Thanks for
Things
clearing
just
that
took a
up.
very interesting turn, in my opinion.
Eastside, it's an ambush!
Shoot them all! Damn it! There's no need for this!
Oh, he's fucking dead.
What the fuck? Get out of here! Now! Stop! Oh, fuck!
Yeah, Bobby, get up!
There was stealth tech in those containers. The Belters must have had help from someone high up enough on the food chain to get through restricted military space.
We need to get off planet. I have a cousin on Ceres. We can go there until things cool off.
You should go then. I've got other plans.
What are you gonna do? Take on the entire fucking military by yourself?
Not by myself. Good luck.
Wait,
Everything. Warned us. We're charging through the doors anyway. If we have any chance at surviving what comes next, it'll be because of you. Rest in peace, brother. You can.
I don't want to beat the shit out of you if you're gimpy.
We're fighting, are we?
You made me kill Wei. I liked Wei.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
The look on his face! You see, even Mercury was like, oh wait, fuck, maybe I fucked up there. Maybe I made a mistake.
Vision is going to change the arc of our species. I intend
lost.
to dedicate my first term to fully opening the ring gate for exploration and for colonization.
So there's...
Ma'am, I know we didn't leave on the best terms, but you're the only one I can trust to tell. There's something rotten on Mars. Within the military, some kind of weapons trafficking with Belters. I don't know how high up or what it's for, not yet, but it feels dangerous. Assuming your offer to work together is still open, I accept. I think we need each other.
Bobby, your timing sucks.
So, I mean, I assume she still has, like, connections and things that they can, but they're gonna be kind of, like, out there on their own again. Oh my god. Fucking badass. I mean, he was a pirate, right? He's got lots of experience boarding shit.
It's just you and me now, Marco.
Well, not just.
No!
This is Claes Ashford, traitor to the belt.
Not
This is Philip,
Naomi's son!
my son.
No!
Nothing you do now will stop what's coming. Yeah.
Don't see what.
Can't even imagine it. This has always been a problem for our kind. Even our dreams are small.
He's gonna shoot those things at Earth.
Die in darkness. But not now.
For to sail, I was sick and nigh to death, but I vowed with my every breath, forego with wisdom ways when I say.
I'm a little bit, honestly, I'm a little bit blown away at this moment by what has just happened and everything that, like, all the turns that occurred in this final episode. I mean, I know I shouldn't be, because that's what the Expanse does to you, right? But to start off with, I'll just say that overall, I felt, even though I really liked this season, I thought it was very well done. I thoroughly enjoyed it all the way through. And there were lots of political elements, especially with Avasarala, and actually an election right on Earth. And then tensions continuing between Belters and the Earther corporations on Elos. But I don't know how to accurately describe this without sounding like I'm insulting the season, because I don't want to, because I thought the season was excellent all the way through, and a lot of very cool things happened. But I feel like this season was smaller, more I guess contained in terms of the scope of the storyline, at least until closer to the end, if that makes sense. I'd liken it to kind of being like, okay, I don't know how many of you guys watch Game of Thrones, but I used to be obsessed with Game of Thrones. Obviously, I have the dragons tattooed on my arm. There were seasons, and even in parts of the books, where I would describe it as being like a building season, where they'd be using that as kind of to put the pieces in place for the larger massive story that was going to be coming in the future. And then so you'd have like a building season, and then a season where things kind of escalate somewhat more, and then a season where everything comes together and culminates, and you see kind of the aftermath of everything that has been building up since that first season a couple seasons ago, if that makes sense. If I was to translate that over to the Expanse, this would be like a building season to me, it seems like. In the sense that, you know, a lot of things that had been building since season 1 kind of concluded with the end of season 3. And I think intentionally so, because they weren't sure if they were going to get what was going to happen in their future. They started with building a lot of new stuff going forward at the beginning of this season. So that's what a lot of it was about. And I'm really excited now that we got to the ending, because I think this now gives us a very clear indication of where we're headed and what sort of thing is going to be going down in the future. And it sounds fucking interesting. So I'll just quickly say, I want to get into that mostly, but before I get to that, I'll just quickly say, I think they did, of course, I think they did a good job with wrapping things up. I'm really sad about Ashford. He hasn't even been around that long in terms of the show's length, you know, but he's grown to be like one of my favorite characters, honestly. I loved everything that happened with him in season 3, and that he ended up, you know, becoming kind of like he was an antagonist. I don't want to say the villain, but he became an antagonist at the end. But he was never villainous because he was doing what he felt was right to save humanity the whole time, and you could see the arguments on both sides, which is why Drummer so easily came back together with him at the end of that season. And then we saw again their relationship this season and what it had become. And their relationship was definitely one of my favorites on the show. And I'm so sad that he died. I mean, I think it was really well done. If he had to go, I think they did a good way of having his death kind of be a catalyst for things going forward. I imagine, you know, I'm curious who the message was to. Maybe it was to Drummer, and then she's going to be kind of on this warpath in the aftermath, which that could be really cool to see next season. Obviously, it could also have been to Anderson Dawes or Fred Johnson. Even so, I feel like either of them could relay that information to her, and because I do have a feeling that's going to be something that we're going to see going down next season, and I'm curious about. But obviously, they aren't going to be the only ones after him with what he's going to be doing, but pause that for a second. Just pause that. Yeah, so I'm sad about that. I'm sad to see him go, but a really great performance. Really pleased that we had the opportunity to have him as long as we did. Yeah. Oh. And then Avasarala, of course, loses the election, which is a big gonna be change for her. We'll see, maybe her husband isn't even going to be with her going forward, but then, of course, at the end, we're going to get our dream team of Avasarala and Bobby back together going into the next season, which is another thing that I'm super excited about. But, you know, as I said, she's no longer in that position of power. She certainly will still have connections and things that she can do, but I don't know exactly how much power she's going to have. But her and Bobby will kind of have to be a team working together, and maybe they'll bring Holden into the mix since he always gets brought into everything. And yeah, but yeah, so again, one other thing before I get to that political stuff, still in the background of all of this is gonna be the threat of the civilization that killed the civilization that made the protomolecule. So they've basically, they got to Illos, they neutralized all the protomolecule remains, whatever was there, and Miller was able to free himself and presumably free the others that were also trapped in this sort of limbo that were connected to him. But the civilization that destroyed that massive, powerful civilization is still out there, which is one of the things Avasarala was so concerned about. And so that's still in the background going forward. And I imagine that's going to be one of those gradual build-up things, kind of like with the protomolecule you saw, like each season, a more in-depth kind of link to what it actually did or could do, or building upon that. So then the meatiest thing going forward is they're about to throw asteroids covered in stealth tech at Earth. At least one of those is going to hit. I mean, I'm just predicting that right now. At least one of those is going to hit. And it's going to be catastrophic. It's going to completely change life on Earth permanently. And that's the thing. That's why that one guy was saying the dream of Mars is still alive and it's about to basically go to another level. He didn't mean in the sense of the dream of Mars, you know, terraforming and making Mars this beautiful place. He meant the old military dream of Mars of destroying Earth, our oldest enemy. So basically, my guess, understanding of this and what it will play out more in the coming season is that there's some faction within the Martian leadership, Martian military, most likely, based on what we heard from Bobby, that is not happy about the peace that was formed, that doesn't want to let the war go, that is not happy about the idea of all of these groups together now peacefully going and colonizing through the various ring gates and seeing where they can go, and they don't want to let that go, so they pay lip service to it publicly, but secretly behind the scenes, kind of like, you know, Marco's faction in the belt, while the larger group is trying to make peace. Behind the scenes, they're planning to try and decimate Earth, basically kill as many people on Earth as possible, maybe make the planet uninhabitable, make themselves the only major power left. And that also, you know, probably ties into what we were seeing about if there was a peace, that, you know, the Martian military would basically be defunct, right? So as it was, and it was being torn apart. And if you're like a military careerist, that's not what you want. Military industrial complex, right? So yeah, so some faction within their government aligns with the faction within the Belters, that is Marco's, and basically say, all right, well, we'll come together and we'll make Earth the common enemy, and we'll give you stealth tech, and you can do something to seriously harm in a permanent way Earth. And then now Mars is this dominant power, and maybe it's like, and then we'll have this alliance between us going forward. And I could see like an interesting way of putting it for Mars, because a lot of Belters would be like, well, Martians and Earthers, there's really no difference in terms of how they've treated us. But I'm sure that some Martians could make the argument that, well, you know, once we were colonists just like you, treated just like you, it's just that we eventually were able to rebel and win our freedom, but we understand that same relationship with Earth. And so yeah, that is going to be so interesting to see how that develops. Because like I said, I think it's going to work, right? Because they laid the groundwork for Avasarala to not be on Earth. Like she's saying, she's going to Luna right now. And her husband is staying and he's gonna die. Oh my god, I just realized that. That's gonna be bad. But yeah, they basically said they've laid the groundwork for her to not be there when the strike happens, so she can live, and that she might even be meeting up with Bobby when this happens, so that'll all be going down. Meanwhile, Holida will be in the process of coming back when this happens. We'll surely get drawn right into the mix, as always. But yeah, that makes a pretty interesting kind of political and military scene for us to get thrown into next season. Yeah, so that's gonna be crazy. And then of course, Naomi's son. We've seen Naomi's son, and he seems to be fully brainwashed on board with this mentality of his father's. And she's gonna be looking for him, and so yeah, again, I don't want to take anything away from this season, because I thought it was very interesting, very well done, with some very memorable characters. I mean, Mertry. But yeah, I definitely feel like it was largely a building season, and that I'm so excited by what we are left with at the end of this. So, all right, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. We'll just say, rest in peace, Klaus Ashford. Rest in peace, Josiah Miller. We love you. And thank you guys again for your patience and waiting for me to get to this episode. And thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully I will see you next time, either for another series or season 5 in the future.